Greetings, my friends. Hello, hello. Another neck and shoulder Qigong series to keep you feeling loose, alive. Remember that if you are just finding yourself in this session without any context, this is part of a 100-day series. This is day 4, I think, of a 100-day series. And so it's best to start at the beginning if you can. And many of these movements themselves are explored in detail in other snake and turtle Qigong videos that you'll find on my channel. So feel free to go there. And this whole series, as they're continuing, will be available over on my Patreon page, a link you'll find down below. And so if you'd like to follow along with this series as it's coming up, probably best to join me over on Patreon and you'll find them there. Or you can wait until this 100-day series is completed, and then I will compile them into a list and make them all available to the public. And I do that with all of my live classes. And so feel free to join, follow along if you'd like on Patreon. That's where I support myself and feed myself. So all of my work is for free. And if you ever feel like helping to share in this project of bringing Qigong to the world, I always appreciate your help. In the meantime, I'd like to begin, as I've been doing, reminding people that it's nice to start with using various oils, creams, or in this case, a liniment, to help soften up your neck and your shoulders a bit. Feels nice and cool. Help to increase circulation, make it a little bit easier to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish here. And as well, in every single class, I have been highlighting some particular tool or method to help continue this softening and opening, this rehabilitation of our neck and shoulders. And one of my favorite methods within the clinic to use is a infrared lamp. And this particular lamp, it's called a TDP lamp. Highly recommended. This is simply on a tall stand, which is why it looks so big, which is wonderful if I want to treat somebody who's on a clinical table in front of me. But also it's really fantastic for using, for instance, while I'm standing, if I have a stiff neck, and if you are somebody who finds that warmth and movement help to make your neck and shoulder tension feel a little bit better, then something like this might be fantastically helpful for you. So while you're doing your practice, you would simply position yourself in front of it so that it's just lightly warm, continuously helping to open, to generate circulation, to help soften the tissues there. Then this process is just a fantastic aid to your practice. You can also put it in your back or on your knees, other places that might need that help. And so highly recommend that they pick one up. They're not super expensive. If they are available in your country where you are and you have the opportunity, then it's a worthwhile addition to your practice. Any of these things that you add to your practice will help to make things go a little bit faster and speed up your healing process. But remember not to use it too much. I'm looking at you, you know who you are, a person that tends to overdo everything. So you're like, oh, this thing is here. A little bit is good. A lot must be much better, right? Wrong. Don't be that person anymore. Use it just enough and then set it aside, do something else that's good for you. Accumulate little bits of good things, and that is much better than trying to OD on one thing, because that always ends up turning it into a toxic process. If you like as well, you can do a little self-massage of your neck and your shoulders. Help to loosen things up a little bit. If you happen to have a practice buddy with you, they can lightly massage and open up your upper back and shoulders. And again, this is something that will help speed along your healing process. So let's settle into some snake and turtle Qigong, especially for the neck and shoulders, starting, of course, with this comfortable Wuji, open and neutral standing position. turtle standing in the rain. Just for a few minutes, feeling waves of softness traveling down the body. Again, this is one of those methods that I have detailed in extensive video discussions and classes and lessons on the channel. So feel free to check it out if this is something you'd like to learn more about, this particular practice. Allowing your whole body to soften, making sure that you take the time to release your neck, your throat, tops of your shoulders, the back of your shoulders, the front of your shoulders, space beneath. Allowing your elbows to sink comfortably. Your wrists are soft. Your chest is released. Your upper back softens. Your shoulder blades slide down your back. Your lower back is easy. Your belly is soft. Your ribs. Your glutes and your hips. Letting them go, as well as your thighs. Any tension around your knees. Make sure your knees and hips are gently unlocked. Your lower legs are free. Your ankles, your feet, your toes. Softening all the way down and through your body. Releasing any patterns of tension through your body into the ground. You don't need them anymore. When you're ready, gentle circles around the navel. Soften your hands and your wrists, the musculature around your elbows. Allow your elbows to hang. Allow that relaxation to radiate from your hands into your belly, softening your abdomen. Allow your awareness to soak in to the center of your abdomen. Both directions. Spiraling back inward. Your awareness sinking beneath your palms, into your navel, and if possible, deep to your navel, toward your spine, the center of your body. You may find that it activates your belly a bit. Allowing your arms to fall. Let's start by Softening the head side to side, emphasizing the lengthening side. Your spine continues to lengthen. If I was to help to pull and extend your head upward while softening this side open and dropping this shoulder, then you would notice that it's not closing this side at all. You're still continuing to lengthen. You're just lengthening one side a bit more than the other. Pulling open your upper spine gently. And releasing that opposite arm. If you like, you can look left and right, engaging your eyes with the movement gently. You're not pushing on your eyes, you're just gently letting your eyes flick to one side and then flick to the other. And then this left and right yin and yang movement, which is embedded in all of our practices. Allow the weight to pour through the right half of the body. I'll exaggerate a little bit so you can see what's going on. And then it pours through the left half of the body. Again, I'm exaggerating. One whole side becomes light, the other side becomes heavy, sinking through. So the movement, when you're doing it, is quite small, allowing one whole side to be stable, to be nourished by the ground. And then one whole side becomes light and free and empty. The sinking arm lengthens because you let it go. It's this kind of lengthening. Just let it fall open. And it stretches open like warm taffy. Keeping your arms on the sides of your body so that you don't roll your shoulder forward or try to pull it back. And now we'll combine these two movements somewhat. So I'm going to slide my hands around my waist. And I'm going to put them on my lower back, either backs of my hands, sides of my hands, perhaps my palms, so that there's this comfortable resting here, but do make sure that you are not arching your back or tightening your shoulders as you do this. And we're going to slide the hands up and down, backs of the legs, alongside the spine, somewhere in there that's comfortable for you. And maintain this sense of lengthening and softening along one side of the spine, lengthening and softening along the other, without closing down the other side. And the weight flows down through into the ground, and one side becomes light, empty, and free. It's very different than pulling down and then pulling down. Don't practice that way. Remember that all of these movements are available on the Snake and Turtle channel in greater detail if you have questions. Or you can put the questions down in the comment box and we'll happily answer them there. Settling back down, letting go. Closing, which we do consistently throughout the form, is an opening out to the sides. So I'm going to let my shoulders sink and lengthen outward as though there was somebody there gently pulling on my arms to the side. So my elbows are moving away from my spine. And then my elbows bend, but they continue to move outward as though somebody was pulling on my arms to continue lengthening this line away from the spine, which is something that happens a lot during this form. And then while the elbows lengthen away from the spine, everything sinks. The shoulders release, the chest is soft, your belly is soft. And then we place the hands again on the navel and allow our awareness to grow quiet, to meditate just for the space of a few breaths on that space inside the body, the middle dantian, middle elixir field. Wonderful. Starting to feel nice and loose. Let's open up the hips. Let's try breaking this movement into two directions. First, underneath, forward and back. So just staying in a single line, tilting your pelvis, letting your tailbone sink down as you open your lower back, and then soften open the front of your belly as your tailbone points backward. And then let's do the same thing side to side. Bending your knees slightly, tilting your hips. I'll get a bit closer so you can see. So that as you move and your hips soften down, one sinks, one lifts through a letting go process. And now let's combine those two directions and make a circle. I'm mostly keeping my hands here so that it's easy to see the shape of the movement. I know things are smaller on the camera, so do your best. I'll get a bit closer. Both directions. Full and comfortable circles. Releasing your lower back, your belly, your hips, your knees, your feet. And then I'm going to put my feet a little bit closer together, and I'm going to move the full pelvis, circulating my hips around the perimeter of my feet, with my head staying more or less in the center. I'll go ahead and put my hands on the sides of my legs as a reminder to keep this area soft, softening the glutes, softening the front of the hips and the belly. Both directions. And then I'm going to move my feet closer together. If this makes you feel unstable or unbalanced, of course, it's fine to have your feet apart. I'm going to soften my upper spine and my neck, moving in a circle. Very gently. If you'd like, As with most of these movements, again, you can move your eyes along with the movement, so you're making gentle circles, rolling your eyes without pushing or tightening your eyes. Just keep it an easy and relaxed movement. Not a necessary part of the practice, but it can add a little benefit for people who are having some eye trouble, and I know at least one of you is. Both directions. A circle only as large as feels comfortable. It can be the size of a coin, very small circle. Don't press into blockages. Gazing down into the ground. Soften the base of your neck. Softening the middle of your neck and the top of your neck near the skull. And then very gently rolling up. Looking up. Looking down. Releasing the bottom, the middle, and the top of your neck. Looking up. Leading with your eyes if you'd like. Looking down. Remember, even here when my chin is touching my chest, you can hear that it's not closing my throat off or my breathing because I'm not clamping down on my throat. I'm lengthening the back of my neck. So you don't need to go that far. Only go as far as is comfortable where you are continuing to lengthen without kinking or compressing any part of your body. My scoliosis used to be so bad that I wasn't ever able to move my head down this far. And so it's quite amazing that now it feels effortless. And that's thanks to standing posture and snake and turtle Qigong. Let's go ahead and do closing. Softening down. Make sure that your elbows are continuing to lengthen away from your shoulders, away from your spine. Your awareness soaking into that space in the center of your body. Every time that I do it lately, my whole abdomen starts rumbling like an engine. So I apologize if it's loud on the microphone. Let's do a bit of shoulder release. I'll turn sideways. A full, comfortable circle with the shoulder. Palm turning forward as you open the front of your shoulder. Your palm turns back as you open the rear of your shoulder. I'm going to put that leg in the back, one foot in front, and this whole side of the body is relatively stable. I close toward it. I open away from it. As my arm drops, I soften the top of my shoulder so it falls. Softening the top of the shoulder. All of our movements are like this. They happen because we let go. I have a number of videos on my channel about that subject as well, if you're curious. Softening. Soften the front of the shoulder, soften the rear of the shoulder, soften the ribs. Both directions. Changing sides. A wave of softness traveling around the shoulder. This can be treated as a meditation. So if you notice that your mind is wandering away a lot, both directions, make certain that you are being appropriate with your distractions by noticing them and losing interest, coming back to your practice. Don't try to control your mind or to force yourself to concentrate. That is not a healthy way to practice. You're simply present by settling into the present moment, by softening your mind, becoming clear and open. Let's try both sides. Both directions. You can always do more in one direction than another. You can do extra if this is particularly healing for you. Letting go of the tops. I often find these are particularly healing. Diagonal. Mixing this movement with that left and right yin and yang movement. One side becoming light, sinking through the other into the ground, falling through. Both directions. So now let's combine some of these movements together. First, let's do a forward circle. Lifting the chin, extend the chin, opening your throat, the back of your neck, forward, down. Don't compress your throat. Up and over. And as we do this, let's begin allowing the shoulders to follow that movement. And to allow that movement to begin spreading down the spine, opening your lower back so that this softens your hips. Lengthening your elbows away from your spine, palms turning forward and back. Smaller and smaller. Closing. Elbows away from the spine. Soften your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, your chest, your solar plexus, your belly. Awareness sinking inside. Comfortable and easy movements. Oops, let me move that box here. Oh, technology. There we go. Let's start to loosen up our body a bit. And now we're going to look left and right. But rather than pulling toward my shoulder as I look left and right, I'm going to, again, lead with my eyes. And I'm going to look up, over the shoulder, and down, as though toward the ground, and then release back. At the same time, I'm going to soften away from this opposite front of my shoulder. So for you people who tend to collapse your shoulders forward, I know there's at least a couple of you watching this, make sure that this softens open as you look away. Wonderful. Now we'll do the same kind of turn, but this time we'll arc under, looking up and back as though toward the top of a mountain, down and back up. Continuing to soften, open your shoulders, front of your neck, releasing. And again, if you like, leading the movement with your eyes. But be very gentle. Don't squeeze the muscles behind your eyes. Stay soft. And then this movement and posture for the tech neck problem. We're going to soften our elbows away from our shoulders, keep the tops of our shoulders relaxed. You can put your hands on the back of your head if you like. And now we are going to gently draw our elbows back so that our elbows lengthen away from the spine and pull back just a little bit, but not behind the body. Enough so that the hands gently push against the back of the head, lengthening horizontally. And then we gently push the head into the palms, lengthening vertically. Don't push your head back and shorten your neck. Lengthen your spine vertically. So we have a lengthening horizontally, and then a lengthening vertically. Horizontally, vertically. Just one more time. And then we soften our shoulders, let our palms face forward, releasing down, shoulders, elbows. The very bottom of the wrists release. The hands are along the side of the body. Comfortable and easy. Just pause for a moment as your shoulders re-lengthen. Don't do that last one too much in the beginning. You might end up with a stiff neck, which is not the point of our practice. Every 10 days of this 100-day practice, I'll add one extra repetition so that by the end of the 100 days, you're doing 9 or 10 of them. And that's plenty to strengthen those postural muscles that tend to grow weak as we stand and sit like this. And then again, same thing, lengthen away from the spine, even all the way around so your shoulders stay soft, elbows continue to release away from your spine. Using your hands, push your head from behind so that you look to your left. Using your right hand, push your head from behind so you look to your right. One side then the other. Be gentle. This should be more comfortable for you. It's just a passive rotation. Your hands are helping with the movement. Don't do too many. Let's go ahead and soften back. And again, release down. Soften the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. Once again, the hands floating up, shoulders stay soft. This time we're going to put our hands on the top of our head, and then we'll turn our palms up, pressing upward, our shoulders sink down, crown of the head floats up, tailbone sinks down, lengthening our spine, our whole body is long, and then gently we soften down, hands on the top of the head. Let go of the arms so that the weight of the arms presses down gently into the top of the head. Crown of the head pushes into the hands, and then we soften up. Just by adding the weight of our arms, it helps us to strengthen those tiny postural muscles that lift our head naturally. You don't want to push or strain or do this too much because we're not trying to stiffen. We're just gently strengthening over the course of the 100 days. And then one more time, lengthening. Our whole spine lengthens. Soften outward, palms forward, releasing shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the chest, the waist, the hips, the knees, the feet. And then that wonderful side to side movement, keeping your head vertical and facing forward, one side then the other. I know that for many of you this feels impossible. Continue softening along the side that you're opening away from. Comfortable and effortless. And then again, as though a big hand comes down and shakes us from the head downward, the way we shake our arms out toward the fingertips. We're going to shake the neck, shoulders, down the spine, to the hips, to the knees, to the feet. Most of these, again, 9 times, except for the last few, which I'm starting off with fewer repetitions because they tend to make people feel stiff and sore if we do them too quickly. Closing. Notice how different your neck and shoulders feel 45 minutes into the practice. And then, lovely movement that will help us to inform the snake and turtle movement that comes after it. Little finger touching the body, palm facing forward. Up in front of the face, lower hand turns palm down in front of the navel. Upper hand spirals around above the head, softening your shoulders. This palm pushes up, this palm pushes down. You lengthen your spine, lengthen your whole body up and down. Release your lower hand, upper hand turns palm down. Soften your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder and shoulder blade, your chest, your waist, your hips, your knees, your feet, melting down. And then your neck, your upper back and spine, your lower back, your tailbone sinks all the way down to your feet. Practice this wave of softening. releasing all the way down through your bones, even into the ground. One more time. Releasing into the ground. Now, the next movement, black snake twisting around a tree, incorporates that, as well as these movements we were doing with the shoulders and the neck a little while ago, looking up and down. Make sure that all of that information comes together as you release your body. One hand settles, softening against your lower back, your shoulder blade releases down. You're going to open. Continue lengthening away from your spine. Hand against the back of your head, if you like. Looking behind you. Looking up and back. Looking down and back. Softening downward. Wait until you let go all the way, and then you start the next side. If you'd like, you can reach past the back of your head, grasping your ear, and pulling in your ear to turn your head, but only if your shoulder and your neck feel very comfortable with that. Everybody will be different every day, so make sure you don't overdo it. You can allow your eyes to be part of your movement so that they're also engaging in these long circles, arcs, looking up and down. One more on either side. Continue whichever one you're on. Make sure that you're not twisting your knees or twisting your hips. This is about creating a spiral and a twist through your spine instead, through your waist, softening your neck. You don't want to pull so hard that you're kinking your neck. You shouldn't feel any stress or strain in your neck. In fact, it should be easy. Don't lift your shoulders or tighten. Just be gentle. Closing. Allowing your mind to slow down and be quiet. If you notice your mind instantly jumping away, pause the video, take a moment until your awareness becomes a little bit more stable, settling into your body. And then playing again the lesson once you've let your mind settle and stabilize a bit. And when you're ready, hands lifting to the level of the shoulders, as though you're going to bounce a ball, your hands drop down toward the ground and then back. Up, straight toward the ground, and then falling back. So up, without leaning back, shoulders stay soft, hands sink straight down toward the ground, and then back. Make sure that your chin doesn't jut forward as you do this. As you soften your shoulders, that releases your neck more, so the crown of your head floats up. Let your arms swing a little bit. Free movements. And then, one foot in front. Your hands floating up in front of you, wrists crossing a little bit, opening to the sides. Shoulder blades sink down. Forward again, hands cross, falling down like we just practiced. Up, elbows a little bit higher than the shoulders to make it easier for the shoulder blades to release down your back, and then forward and down. Up, make sure that you don't lean back. Your hips stay beneath your shoulders. Don't move your elbows behind your body. Pouring your weight forward and back. One foot and then the other. Letting go of your shoulders. That's the sweet moment here. We go, and then let go. Soften the shoulders. Your chest opens and lifts a little bit. Your chest sinks, settles to your belly. And then placing this part of your hand here up against your belly, tiger's mouth we call it. Lifting with your wrists, let your elbows come as high as comfortable while your shoulder still sinks down. If it starts to creep up towards your ear, you've gone too far. And then leading with the fingers on the way down, the palm slowly turns forward and then back up. Allow your chest to rise and sink a little bit. Your hips and knees are soft. Shoulder blade, just like in the last practices, continues to slide and release down your back. Both sides. Make sure that the crown of your head continues to fall upward as you soften your neck and throat. Don't allow tension to pull your head forward or to look down at your hand. And then, as though embracing the tree, slightly wider stance, your palms turned forward, pushing your hands forward, around. Let your palms move away from your body, and then soften your shoulder blades down your back, and then let your arms fall along the sides of your body, just like we were practicing earlier. Opening your back, opening your chest, pushing forward, pushing outward. Your elbows a little higher than your shoulders. Shoulder blades release, sinking down. So this is a wonderful way to get into that standing posture. You open, and then as your elbows sink down and your shoulder blades slide down, your hands naturally tend to fall on the sides of your body rather than forward or backward. And then you find yourself in this comfortable standing posture. So it's a perfectly fine way to get into the standing posture by doing this movement and letting your arms fall, and now you're just here. And that's a good way to practice if you find it difficult to find this correct position for the shoulders. Let's do a version of this where we don't drop our arms, however. Softening, continuing around. Palms push out. Softening, continuing around. This is just a different shaped movement. Both are okay. This time, let your hands sink down. Palms forward, letting go. And so as with these other movements, these preparatory practices are all small pieces that help us to understand the snake and turtle movement that will help us release our neck and shoulders. White snake sticking out its tongue. So include the last 4 practices we did within this practice. So again, one hand sliding up and down. One hand lifting, the shoulders sink, the chest lifting and sinking. I'll just face you here. And the hands falling down, letting them go. Shoulder blades settling down the back. As your hands come up, don't let your shoulders creep up. Let them fall. Fall. Changing your feet. Closing. You take your time. A few breaths of meditation, feeling into your belly. Now, a few moves to prepare for the golden snake movement. Let's start with this shape. Your hands resting relatively in front of your shoulders. Make sure that your elbows don't come back behind you. Instead, they extend away as though I was there pulling on your arms sideways. Your chest opens, your back opens. You can let your elbows come a little bit higher than your shoulders if that's comfortable and your shoulders don't lift. Hands resting kind of in the center. Both directions. Lengthen outward. Elbows move away from your spine. It's a direction we're not used to opening. Very important. Nice. You can see why I call this the Emperor Penguin movement. And then competing dragons here. Palm face up. Hand slides down, back of your hand slides down the side of your body. Let go of your arm, let it lengthen. Up. Lead with your fingertips. Soften your shoulder, let it be quiet. Don't let it creep up as you go around the circle. Let's try the other side. Back of the hand, down the side, leading with your fingertips. Don't try to push your elbow down. Softening. The same thing, lead with the hand. If you try to lift with your shoulder and your elbow, you just get in your own way. I'm trying not to move my waist or my dantian too much because I know that looks visually confusing when I do that. So if that happens from time to time, just ignore it. Flower hiding under a leaf. Place one hand. The other hand slips beneath it. Both hands turn palm up. Shoulders soften. Turn palms down. Hand slips beneath. Palms up. Palms down. Again, if you know about turning the waist, keep your hips soft. Don't twist your knees. If you know about rotating your dantian, you can certainly do that. But don't be confused if the movement seems too big. Simply softening. Relax your shoulders, turn your waist. Relax your shoulders, turn your waist. Soften your neck. Crown of the head continues floating up. Changing feet. The other hand slips beneath. Both hands turn palm up. Now let's combine those movements and the lessons from them into this golden snake wrapping around the tree. Slightly wider stance. I'm just going to get my right hand out of the way. Cross the body. Open. Remember, there's videos teaching all of these movements on the Snake and Turtle channel, so don't worry about trying to memorize them here. Plenty of instruction. Just keep your neck and shoulders very soft, fluid and open. Your mind quiet, your breath easy. One more time on either side. Going at whatever speed feels most comfortable. Pausing the video if you need to. Keeping your shoulders soft. Your breath is normal. Don't hold your breath. Don't twist your knees. This movement ends up usually being everyone's favorite practice. So do take the time to learn it. Great deal of fun. Wonderful for your neck and shoulders. Closing. Opening and then settling. When you're ready, hands crossed. Make sure that your hips are settled back enough so that there's space in front of you. If you try to cross your hands while your hips are forward, there's no room for them. But if you then make space by moving your hips out of the way, now that space where they were gives enough room for your hands to swing through. Palms turning forward as the shoulders soften. Palms turn toward you as the shoulders soften. Easy. The weight pouring left and right with that yin and yang, left-right yin-yang practice we worked on before. Softening your hips, softening your waist. And then when you're ready, opening with the sky. Softening down, closing up the ground. Tian Kai Di He. Shoulders are soft. Notice my shoulders aren't creeping up to my ears. Shoulder blades slide down the back, then go. This whole time your neck remains free, your throat is soft, crown of the head floating upward, uncompressed cervical spine. And then we try the opposite. Opening. Shoulders stay soft in the back. Don't let your shoulders creep forward. Slide your shoulder blades down your back, your elbows point down, your palms face inward. Letting go. Get a bit closer so you can see more easily. Helping to sink and move things down the front of the body. Closing. Notice the change in your body. Shift in your shoulders, the softness in your neck and your chest, your upper back, and hopefully the ability to quiet your mind. Your breath is comfortable and lively, soft and fine and tranquil. Not trying to control anything. And then chin sinks in toward the throat, down toward the chest, and then forward around the circle. Just a reminder again, we are lengthening our neck, softening, lengthening the back of the neck, not compressing our throat. Let this wave motion travel down your body. The whole front of the body opens, lengthens open, gently arching your back, and then softening open, wave, releasing down your back so that your lower back and your hips release as you come up. One more time. Opening the front of the body, waving down. So now let's combine that with turtle drinking chi. Your hips are going to sink back behind you so that your spine is long and soft, however far that is for you. And then very gently soften your hips and your knees and your neck so that it opens the back of your spine. Rounding your back, your tailbone sinks, lengthening open the rear of your spine. And then very gently, again, leading with the nose, continuing around that circle, opening the front of the body, and then softening down. Again, sinking down, lengthening your spine, only as far as feels comfortable, and then softening back of your spine, softening over the front of your spine. If you're somebody that is worried about blood pressure, please be extra gentle as you drop your head down. Take your time to let your blood pressure restore in between each movement. As well, if you are worried about compressing your abdomen for any reason, weak blood vessels there, pregnancy, or just discomfort, then make this move smaller. Don't try to copy my movements. Listen to your own body, and definitely listen to your doctor if they said, hey, don't do that kind of thing. This is supposed to make us feel good. And then closing. Similarly, I'll slowly increase the number of those that we do with each practice, but because sometimes people feel dizzy or unaccustomed to that kind of movement, it can make people feel uncomfortable. So please do take your time with that. Plenty of time to slowly increase the number of movements. Feeling into your belly. And then when you're ready, back up just a little bit. Hands falling open, shoulders are soft, shoulder blades slide down the back so that you're not compressing your neck. And just like before, pressing your hands up, lengthening your spine. Circle your wrists a bit, and then softening down through wrists, elbows, shoulders, chest, waist, just like we've been practicing. A wave of release down through the body. And then again, softening your wrists up to your shoulders, gathering up as though you're gathering veggies in the garden, pulling up gently with no force. Hands lift to the level of at least your waist, softening forward and down. If you like, you can look up towards your hands, opening the front of your body again, but don't compress your back. You're just opening the front of your body a little bit. Leading with the top of the head as you stand up, softening your legs. Lengthening. If you like, you can imagine that you gather down the sky. Gather up the earth. Using them to warm the center of your body. Sometimes it's better to just feel this comfortable softening down and through, this release, making space. Your neck and shoulders are soft, your chest, your upper back, so that by the time your hands are at the navel, your whole upper body is released. And then you soften your hips and your glutes, your thighs, your knees, your feet, down into the ground. Closing. Feeling the center of your body soften. Let's try some swings. Keeping your knees facing over your toes. Don't twist your knees. Don't turn your hips. Just turn your waist, your navel. So that if I was to stand behind you and hold onto your hips to keep them from doing this, they wouldn't move. Instead, this would remain stable and your waist would turn. Leading with your hands. Bouncing your hands against your body if your hands and wrists don't hurt. Otherwise, it's okay to just stop them before they bounce against your body. Let's go ahead and do another moment of this basic standing posture. Emphasizing, of course, the release of your neck, your throat, your jaw, tension around your eyes, tops of your shoulders, front of your shoulder, the rear of your shoulder, space just beneath. Your elbows hang down, your wrists are soft, your hands are comfortable. Letting the weight of your body fall through. If you'd like, you can do a little light patting around the neck and all the sides of the shoulders. Just light enough to draw chi and warmth to the surface. Not trying to disperse or hit your body hard. That's not this kind of patting. Trying to fill your channels and encourage circulation to the surface very lightly. There's a whole set based around this that you can find on the channel if you enjoy it. This is just a quickie version. Thank you very much. Enjoy your practice.